It is 2 a.m. You are wide awake, staring at the ceiling, suddenly flooded with an intense urge to turn your life around. You mentally map out new workouts, a strict schedule, and early wake-up calls. But the sun comes up, the alarm goes off, and the drive you felt just a few hours ago is gone. The core mystery is why that readiness evaporates exactly when the actual work begins. We struggle because we miscategorize the feeling. Motivation is a temporary emotional state. It functions as a fleeting reaction to a thought, rather than a permanent part of your personality. Emotions fluctuate by the minute. Attempting to build a long-term plan on an inherently unstable emotional foundation leaves the entire system vulnerable to the first shift in your mode. Human emotions are chemically unstable by design. They are meant to be fleeting reactions to our immediate environment, not sustained operating states. Your brain operates with a specific baseline objective, keeping you alive. To do this, it constantly predicts future outcomes and budgets your physical energy for those events. When you envision a better version of yourself in the middle of the night, your brain creates a positive simulation of that future. The thrill you feel is your brain reacting to its own internal projection. Understanding why that thrill disappears requires us to look at the hidden economy of the brain's internal reward system. The primary currency of that reward system is dopamine. Biologically speaking, dopamine is a chemical of pursuit. Its primary function is to push you towards an objective. There is a critical disconnect in how we perceive this. Dopamine is released heavily in anticipation of a reward, rather than during the actual execution of the work. This graph shows dopamine levels over time. When you visualize a life-changing goal at 2 a.m., the concentration of dopamine in your system shoots straight up, forming this massive peak. This specific zone of chemical saturation is the physical sensation we call motivation. This spike is a biological prompt designed to initiate action, but it lacks the chemical fuel to sustain it. The moment effort begins, dopamine levels drop to near zero. The feeling of readiness is chemically programmed to crash the second you have to step out of bed and exert yourself. This reveals a fundamental biological paradox. The brain is obsessed with rewards, but evolution has hardwired it to avoid caloric effort. When your alarm rings the next morning, the simulation ends. Your brain calculates the actual, real-world physical and mental cost required to follow through on the plan. Upon registering this high cost of effort, the brain restricts the dopamine supply to conserve its energy reserves. This sudden apathy reflects a biological priority, conserving energy when the cost of effort exceeds the perceived immediate reward. Losing motivation simply means your brain is functioning as it evolved, prioritizing ancient energy conservation over modern, long-term goals. If the brain automatically restricts our fuel when things get hard, how do we ever achieve difficult things? We utilize a specific biological workaround: habits. A habit is a deeply automated neural pathway. Through repetition, scattered neurons fuse into a solid, glowing circuit, operating independently of emotion. Running on automation, the signal smoothly bypasses the brain's internal resistance filters, requiring minimal dopamine and caloric energy. Building habits is a highly efficient biological mechanism for consistency. It moves the behavior into a system that does not depend on unstable emotions. Motivation provides the initial burst to begin, similar to the quick spark needed to start a much larger system. Discipline is the sustained movement. It is the deliberate choice to take action when the initial chemical spike has vanished. Each repeated act of discipline physically hardens those automated habit pathways in the brain. If you rely on motivation, you will likely stop moving the moment the emotion fades. By focusing on habits, you build a system that moves you forward regardless of how you feel on any given morning. Subscribe for more insights into decoding your brain's mechanics to build reliable follow-through.